Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. We're on like a weird angle of my room. I hope you can't see what a mess it is behind me. January has been a tough month for me. I think it's just like seasonal. I haven't seen the sun in weeks kind of shit. So today I don't have a lot of time, but I did want to share with you guys the books that I am planning on reading in February. As you should know, February is Black History Month, and so Jessie from Books and Bow Ties is hosting, I think that's their channel, is hosting a month-long readathon called Blackathon, where we're reading books by Black authors. So I pulled all of these books from my already way too long TBR, and I am very much looking forward to reading them. They're all books that I've had on my shelves for a little bit of time, and they're all books that I'm really excited to get to. So I figured today I would share them with you, and I will leave Jessie's video about Blackathon in the description. I'm just kind of winging it. I'm not going with the prompts or anything, mostly because I'm not buying books this year, and I find diverse books really tough to get from the library, which is unfortunate. But from my own TBR, these are the books that I want to get to for Blackathon. There aren't a lot of books coming out in February that I want to read, so this is pretty much what I want to read in February, and if I get to anything else, they might be new releases. I don't know. We'll see. Anyways, let's get started. The first book I want to read is Akata by Nnedi Okorafor. I think that's how you pronounce her name. I read her Binti trilogy recently. I read it in December, and I liked it enough that I want to keep reading from her. There was a couple things about it that I didn't love, but it was more of like a personal preference than anything. I've been meaning to read this for quite some time. One of my old coworkers, like a long time ago, read this and really, really loved it. This is her teen book. I believe it's a duology, and this is basically about a girl who lives in Nigeria, and she's West African, but she's albino, and so that kind of puts her on like the outskirts of the people that she knows and that she's familiar with. But then she discovers she has powers, and she's put into this like magical school. So it's about like identity with a little bit of magic, and knowing what this author did with the Binti series, I think I'm gonna really enjoy this. So looking forward to that. Looks long, like it's over 300 pages, but like the text itself is pretty big, so I think I'm gonna really fly through this. I think it'll be an easy read for me. And there's also like, curious to see what this is. It's like a recipe for something interesting. The next book I have here to show you is by one of my favorite authors, except like I haven't actually read a lot from her. I've read like one work from her and I loved it so much, and like she's one of my favorite authors. It's Dionne Brand. Dionne Brand is from Trinidad and Tobago, and so she's part of like this really large African diaspora in Trinidad and Tobago. And so this is her novel In Another Place Not Here, and honestly I don't know what it's about, so let's read the back. Beautiful and meticulously wrought, set in both Toronto and the Caribbean, this astonishing novel gives voice to the power of love and belonging in a story of two women, profoundly different, each in her own spiritual exile. As far as I know, Dionne Brand is also queer, and she lives in Canada. She apparently teaches at the University of Guelph, so like University of Guelph, hit me up so I can meet Dionne Brand because I love her so much. So I don't know a lot about this, but I know that I love Dionne Brand and her writing, and I've had this on my TBR for a couple of years now. And I recently read her book Theory, and I talked about that in my December wrap up. If you want to hear more of my thoughts on that, that's one of her most recent works, whereas this one I think she wrote in the 90s. This particular edition came out in 1997. Oh, it was published the year I was born, 1996. What's up? Next book I have here to show you is a memoir, and that is Hunger by Roxane Gay. And this is a memoir about bodily autonomy, and it's Roxane Gay kind of also telling her sexual assault story. So that's definitely a huge trigger for that book. I've read excerpts from Bad Feminist. I haven't read the whole thing, but what I have read of Roxane Gay, I really, really love. So I own Hunger. I also own Difficult Women. So if I have time in February to read that, I think that'll also be on my TBR. And that's a collection of Roxane Gay short stories. So it's fiction, whereas this is nonfiction. This has really intrigued me. I ended up pre-ordering this, I think. So I've had this since it came out like a few years ago, and I just haven't read it yet. So I'm definitely looking forward to reading that. And Roxane Gay is just really fantastic. And the last book I have here to show you is a collection of short stories. It's called How Long Till Black Future Month by N.K. Jemisin, who I love. Again, I think one of my favorite authors, but I've only read 2 of her books. This one I actually got my friend Aislinn and I believe her channel below, we went on like a little Toronto bookstore trip over the summer, and that's when I picked this up. I picked it up at a sci-fi fantasy store in Toronto. I think it's Baka Phoenix Books, and they're a really fantastic store. So this is a collection of short fiction. It's her first collection of short fiction, and she mostly writes like sci-fi fantasy type stuff, so I'm really looking forward to it. And the title really intrigues me, so I think it's going to be a lot of commentary about race. And yeah, that's really all I have to say about this. I'm trying to get more into short fiction. I feel like I read a lot of short fiction in university, but all of it was like classic short fiction, and I didn't love all of it. It was like Kafka and shit, so we didn't read a lot of short fiction from diverse authors. I'm actually planning a video talking about global literature and English degrees and the disappointment I found when I did my English degree and the lack of resources we were given to read global literature. Also, like, that has to do with like the literary canon and like who decides what the literary canon is and why it looks the way that it looks. But that's a video for another day. That is my TBR for Blackathon. It's only 4 books, but like I said, I definitely have a few other books that I could definitely pick up once I get through these. But I also love the way they look together, how it's like yellow, white, so beautiful. This is definitely like a blind spot for me, and I've started making a playlist with everyone's Blackathon TBR videos so that I can watch them and kind of get more exposure to what I want to read in the future. But at this point I'm rambling and I gotta go soon, so I will see you guys next time. Bye.